So I hope you enjoyed the last podcast style video where I talked about the best credit cards for college students with Spencer Johnson and Matt Welter. If you haven't checked that video out, I'll link it down in the description below, but in this supplementary video, we switch topics and talk more about YouTube and specifically our experiences starting a YouTube channel in the credit card niche. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. I do want to move on to a kind of a different topic now. I know that both of you obviously love credit cards. You're very experienced with credit cards, even at after just graduating college. But you guys also love it so much that you started a YouTube channels about it as well this year. And I'm also someone who started a YouTube channel, although I'm not necessarily out of college like you guys are. But I wanted to kind of get your stances and your kind of your experiences of having a credit card YouTube channel specifically. What that experience has been like for both of you, and just touch a little bit more about that. Why don't you call first, Spencer?
Yeah, having a YouTube channel was something that I didn't necessarily like foresee myself doing in the last year or so, but I've really, I guess, kind of just always consumed YouTube, and that's kind of where it all started. Is like I don't watch Netflix really. I don't watch like any kind of streaming services. Like I only watch YouTube for the most part. So from a young age, this has been like my platform that I watch stuff on, and I've just been involved in a lot of different niches, like watching wise, and of course a lot of personal finance as of recent past. But I've also watched a lot of people like, I don't know if y'all have heard of Ali Abdaal, but he makes like more like productivity based.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Stan, I bet you, because he's also got that medical background too. But yeah, so I kind of started watching him, and he was really influential, or watching his videos was really influential to me in being like, why wouldn't I, create a personal brand a little bit for myself in something I'm really passionate about and want to talk to other people about. And honestly, another big kick for me was that I didn't have that many people in my life that would like love to talk about this stuff as much as me. And I knew that if I took it to YouTube, I'm going to, my videos will be served to people that have, like-minded like thoughts when it comes to credit cards and when it comes to personal finance. So I thought this would be a good place for me to kind of just build a community with people that are like-minded and want to talk about this stuff. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question fully, but that's kind of how I got started with YouTube, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can also go into it a little bit more in detail. But why don't we go with you, Matt? What was your experience right now, starting a credit card YouTube channel? I know you and I actually started pretty much the same time, early January, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my path to YouTube actually was very different, I guess, unconventional. So I actually had a YouTube channel on investing that I started in 2020, and I actually got monetized with that channel, and was doing well with that channel. But I was starting to get into making content that like I just knew would do well, but wasn't necessarily my passion. So I was making like lots of like growth stock videos and stuff like that. And then after a while, I kind of just got burnt out because it wasn't something that I necessarily loved making content about. I was just making it because I knew that would perform well. Whereas like when I would make videos that I wanted to make videos about, I would spend like hours and hours making the videos and they just would like fall flat. So I was just like, I should just make videos that do well, which is a great learning lesson for everyone watching this podcast, because you definitely just want to do something that you're passionate about. You shouldn't be following necessarily some of the results. So that was a mistake I made. So I actually deleted that YouTube channel, and I started this YouTube channel on credit cards in January, so around the same time as you, Stan. And basically I got started, and I've been loving it ever since. I mean, it's definitely way more up my alley as far as passion on what I exactly want to make content about. And I am trying to focus more on the process instead of the results. So I know, Spencer, you and I talked about this a little bit too in the comments, but I sometimes it's hard to like spend a ton of time on a video and then like, let's say it doesn't do well, like to not get wrapped up about it, be like, gosh, like that sucks or whatever. But when you focus on just trying to like make your production quality like a little bit better every time, and then not really caring about like what the results end up being, over time, your videos are going to continue to get pushed out to a greater audience, and you'll eventually start doing better. And it's just kind of, trying to focus on the process and not the results. I also, for me personally, part of the reason I started the channel is because I'm not a huge fan of like the corporate world, I guess, which is kind of like what my degree would allow me to be doing, basically, since my degree is in finance primarily. So since I'm not like a huge fan of the corporate world, I'm always looking for like unconventional ways, I guess, to like make money or like do things that I'm passionate about that aren't necessarily the corporate world, because I'm not passionate necessarily in a lot of ways with the corporate world. And since I've always been kind of like an entrepreneur, since I talked about earlier in this video how I like was selling baseball cards even when I was like 10 years old. I've always just kind of like taken that and like tried to go with it and run with it. So Yeah, so I kind of did this too, just because I wanted to have like another alternative source of income, because at some point, if I want to like start my own business and then maybe have this YouTube channel on the side, or, you know, do something along the lines that would maybe allow me at some point to not be working a 9 to 5 and instead be like working on a bunch of different like side income sources or something like that. So that was partly my inspiration. Also, obviously, I'm very invested in credit cards now, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I also wanted to make videos on the topic. So.
Yeah, I think all of us are really into credit cards. I think it's a really good lesson that you just pointed out there, Matt, about really doing something that you love, because that way, every time you put your heart and soul into a video and maybe it doesn't perform well, you still feel very good about it. And it's really cool to see, because all of us, we started, this year, and we can look back at our first couple of videos. I know I have, and you can just see how much you've grown as a YouTuber, how you've kind of developed that kind of camera presence, how you have kind of mixed things up with the lighting and the audio, and really made things looking a lot better since you first started. And so I think you develop a lot of these skills, and that really goes to your point too, Matt, where you talked about, if you want to start another business or your entrepreneurial spirit, you want to do something else, you have now these skills on video that are now transferable to that new business that you may end up starting. So that's definitely something that's really cool about doing YouTube. And of course, all of us love talking about credit cards. This is something that we just like love it. We don't have to really try at all to talk about credit cards. We could talk for hours about this kind of stuff and still not be bored, which I think is really, really cool about the actual niche that we're in. And watching, the other credit card YouTubers in this space also is very inspiring as well, because there obviously is a lot of things for us to learn. We can always learn new things, and everyone can always benefit from anyone else's personal experience about this topic as well. And what I think is really cool about this niche as well is that I'm sure you've seen it in your comments too on your videos, is that everyone in the credit card community is very nice, very supportive, and they're also very, very smart. They all know a lot about credit cards, and we can also learn a lot from people in the comments as well. And so I really value like a lot of those commenters on our videos, because not only on my own videos, but also on your videos as well. When you guys approach a topic and I see comments, I learn a lot of things from the commenters as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's very true. I think I've almost learned more in those more niche communities. Like it comes like the credit card comment section, or like the credit card niche finance or comment section, but also taking it outside of that to places like, I know y'all may be a part of Daniel Braun and Mark Klimel's Discord. But if you go in there and just like sit in there for a couple minutes, the messages that come through are insane. Like people are like constantly talking about stuff that I have no idea about. And I've gotten a lot of like inspiration from those people as well, and learned a lot from them. But that is something that's really special about this niche in particular, because I feel like everybody is kind of working towards the same goal, and everybody's actually passionate about it and wants to get the right information out. And that's really important, because nobody's like, I never felt like I'm competing with you guys. Like I feel like we're really bringing each other up. And that's something that's made this a lot more of an enjoyable experience, because
absolutely, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, even for me, like YouTube can be a pretty like not necessarily isolating experience, but at the same time, you're doing everything on your own. Like we're producing all of our videos on our own. So if we never were able to collaborate with each other, or boost each other up whenever someone might be feeling down because their video didn't do well, like those little things really add up. And I think that's what's been really special in my experience so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just gonna say, like, going off that, like, I mean, how I look at it is like, if like one of us or like any other credit card YouTuber like makes a video and it blows up, like that is fantastic for everyone in the credit card space, because that's just pushing out more credit card content for more people to see, and like then credit cards are being more recognized on YouTube. And really it is just like the success of one person in the credit card niche overall, or the success of everyone, helps everyone out. Like it's a very great community. I know like we recently had a collab with some other credit card YouTubers as well. And it's a very supportive community. Everyone wants to see everyone succeed. And that's what is like perfect about this niche. And I don't know if I could say the same thing about like every niche on YouTube. So the credit card niche is definitely one of those that's very wholesome overall.
Right. And so I guess my next question for you guys, I'll start with you, Matt, is what have you learned the most from being a part of this community, would you say?
Yeah, I guess one of the things that I've learned the most from being part of this community specifically is, well, one, just like the support has been endless, which has helped me out a lot. And I guess that just kind of like makes me remember, I guess, when I'm like, kind of like what Spencer said, but when I'm producing a video, that like I'm producing this video and I can pretty much know that like I'm going to have some support like every time I post a video, regardless of if it flops or whatever, from like other people in this community, because everyone's just so supportive of each other. So I always have that in the back of the mind when I'm creating a video, that like if I'm worried about one thing not looking good or something, then at the end of the day, we have a great community with the credit card niche on YouTube, and it's also inspired me to like make my content better by seeing other people, and like obviously we work off each other too, and like we can pitch ideas off each other. We can talk about how credit card YouTube is going overall, and it's just like it's a very helpful thing to have such a tight-knit community. So
yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. What about you, Spencer?
I think for me, there's definitely been a lot of that learning curve when it comes to having a community surrounding you. But in addition to that, I think like Matt just mentioned, it's really pushed me also to get better every single video that I post. And my kind of like mantra, I guess, is just to try to get 1% better with each video. And if I can do that in some way by tweaking the lighting or tweaking, my camera quality or just doing stuff like that, has really helped me to increase the value of my content, I feel like. And that's something that I've had to learn, because before I started this channel, like y'all said, less than a year ago, and I didn't know how to use a camera. Well, first of all, I didn't have a camera, so I guess that's one.
Yeah.
But I learned how to shoot like decent looking video on my iPhone. I learned how to use the lighting around me to kind of complement the video a bit. Got like the audio set up pretty well, or at least for what I think right now. And yeah, so it's just like you learn a bunch of these little skills, like you were mentioning, Stan, that can be kind of pushed into your future to help you start any kind of like venture that you want. And I think that's a big part of building this personal brand, and especially it being on YouTube, is that you take a lot of smaller skills away from it that you can then translate into other areas of your life, which has been really helpful for me already. Just even the communication process on camera, that's a big thing that is going to become more and more of an importance, I feel like, when it comes to this more like virtual world we're living in. That was a big reason I kind of wanted to start it too. I was like, this is something like talking to a camera is uncomfortable for the most part. And I felt like if I could just get better at that, even that would be worth making a channel. With all the hours that I put into it, that would be worth it at least, because then I'll be better on camera when it comes to other parts of my life. So
absolutely. Yeah. I really want to hammer home that transferable skills thing, because especially looking back at your older videos and kind of learning kind of all the things you've learned now. I mean, you can look back and 6 months ago, you were not as good as you are now. And I'm sure 6 months later from now, you're going to be even much better. And you look back at this video and be, wow, I've really grown so much. And so that's what's really cool about this YouTube thing. And I think it's really awesome that, all of us have found a topic that we all love to talk about. That is probably the easiest part of doing this YouTube thing, is just really loving the topic that we talk about. So no matter what happens, we really enjoy doing what we do. So that is just really, really great to hear from both of you about that. One of the last questions about this YouTube thing is I want to ask you guys about your future aspirations for the channel. I know that, we're all pretty new to the YouTube community. All of us have started our channels very recently. But Spencer, what do you think is your future aspirations for your channel?
Yeah, I think me and Matt have very, very similar thought process on this. And I assume maybe you too, Stan. I'm not exactly sure where you stand on this. We should talk about that a little bit too, maybe. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely, I'm in the same boat where I, again, didn't really figure out what I wanted to do until late. And by the time I figured out in college that I really loved stuff like personal finance, it was way too late to change a degree or anything like that, especially from engineering where nothing would have transferred. So my aspirations for the channel would be to kind of separate myself from that 9-to-5 work life at some point. I think it'd be really cool, just, short-term goal to be able to be monetized and doing something that I love is really cool. And as we've talked about, all of us before, this is something that YouTube itself, producing content for this community, has been something that's actually given me a lot of purpose. And I know that my job, at least right now, isn't necessarily doing that. And it's kind of hard to, because, yes, while engineering can be very helpful, and it is very helpful and needed, and it's a great job to have, it just doesn't have the same effect as me getting to theoretically meet with my 900 subscribers that I have right now every single time I post a video and interact with them. It's just a completely different thing. So yeah, my aspirations, I guess, for now is to become monetized and just see where that takes me. And if I get 1% better with each of my videos, then theoretically that's going to entice more people to watch, and that's going to, build the community even bigger. And maybe one day I could take this full time, or at least use this as part of a stepping stone in building my own personal brand or my own personal business that's separated from the corporate world. So
great. Yeah, that sounds like a really great plan that you got there, Spencer. What you, Matt?
So yeah, similar to Spencer, I would say my future aspirations is definitely in the near term. I'm trying to hopefully get monetized at some point in the next couple of months. But long term, I think it's very similar to Spencer as well. This might not be like 100% what I'm able to take full time or something like that, but it could just be a stepping stone. And we're kind of talking about transferable skills here. So even if my YouTube channel were to, like, let's say, fizzle out or something and people stopped watching me, didn't care about my content anymore, I still learned so much, because I learned so much more from this than I did ever from school or ever from my job, that I think I could use a lot of the skills from like having to put myself out there and talk in front of a bunch of people that I don't know. And like, you know, every once in a while you get critiques and people like bashing on you. It's just part of being a YouTuber, that I can take those skills and actually transfer that into like opening my own business and doing something along those lines. So medium term, near to medium term, I just hope the YouTube channel does enough for me to actually learn enough skills, which it already has a lot, where I could do something, I guess, outside of the traditional 9-to-5 type culture. But I would absolutely love, and I have told other people, like, yeah, like in, you know, long term, that like my dream, I guess, would be to where I could just be a full-time YouTuber, because then that kind of pairs with my credit card hobby and my travel hobby. Because then I just go make YouTube videos living in Europe or something. I could pretty much do whatever I want, which is why I love the flexibility and freedom of having a YouTube channel, to be able to talk about something you're passionate about, but also have the freedom to like make the content when you need to, also spend time with family when you need to. And like, sometimes typical like 9-to-5 jobs don't necessarily allow you to do all of those things. So YouTube's really just great in that sense.
Yeah, that's a really great, insightful comment that you had there, Matt. I think it's good to know that you have that plan in the back of your mind to figure out if this is something you want to do full time or not. But even if the answer is no, you can really take a step back and say, well, I can really use these skills I've developed over how many years I've been doing this to apply to something else in the future that you may not even have really come up with yet.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And so that was my conversation with Matt Welter and Spencer Johnson about their YouTube channels. I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely check out both Matt and Spencer's videos up here that I know you'll enjoy.